Hello everyone, it's Alice. Welcome back to Crochet Confessions. Wait a minute, it's autumn. Much better. Today in Crochet Confession number 2, I want to talk about the want to buy more yarn while you already have ongoing projects, but especially today, too much yarn. And that's unique to everybody. How much yarn is too much? But there's two questions that if they pop up is a sign that you may have too much yarn. First one is, where did I put that yarn? And you can't find it. You look all over, you can't find it. You know you haven't used it, you haven't given it away. It's somewhere. So obviously you have too much. And the second one is, where did I get that yarn? If you're someone who receives a lot of donation, maybe that's normal, but like if you can't remember where that yarn come from, yeah, maybe a sign to start and organize your stash. Obviously there's always the case of I don't have any more money to buy yarn, but obviously that doesn't stop us. No, wrong answer. Mine personally was like I couldn't find a yarn that I was looking for. Found it finally, but that's when I realized I had too much yarn, and yet I keep wanting to buy more. And there's some projects that I want to do but actually don't need more yarn. I probably have enough. So to palliate, to find a solution, I'm gonna try a couple things. I'm gonna try and organize my yarn stash, obviously, but also I'm gonna use my bullet journal and register my yarn, you know, and actually write down what yarn I have and how much I have, and then I can actually look at it and like, oh, I'm not crazy, I only had that much left. And hopefully by the end of that I won't feel the same urge to go run to the yarn store every time I have an idea. So let's get to it.
You hear that, Samson? Beautiful.
What do I do now? Oh, and also I have more, obviously, but another reason to organize your yarn is that you then end up with this mess. And that's not the only mess I have. There's another one in a drawer. So I have a bit more yarn. And that's not showing my ongoing projects. So, is there really such a thing as too much yarn? Okay, let's get this yarn sorted. So welcome to my floor. think I can really maximize the space here by putting even more divider. So I got those glass divider, but for the really small yarn ball for my amigurumis, I don't have sweater quantities. Maybe 2 yarns on the same color. So I wanted to do something like in the yarn shops, but this is a Billy bookcase by IKEA, and they have extra divider for the Eket one, which is deeper, and they don't have any for Billy. So I'm gonna do a prototype with some cardboard that I have, as one does, and then if it works, my dad's gonna help me with some light wood, make one that fits perfectly, and then we can put even more yarn into my bookshelves. So let's get cracking. So it's really simple. I'm gonna measure my bookshelf. I'm gonna divide by a 3 in 8 and a 4 in length, and I'm gonna cut it. So I want to use that time to talk about sales. You know, they're here to help you get that yarn, and I want all the yarn. I want to get into that consumerism, except I don't. I started knitting and crocheting to be a bit more sustainable, to make my own things with good materials. And then I end up buying cheap acrylic because it's cheap, and especially with amigurumis, when there's some leftover yarn in my shop, there's just like 2 balls left. I'm like, oh, it's fine, I can make something with it, and I buy it, and then I don't. And sales are not what they used to be. Where I live in France, they were invented. Not really, but you know, they were made in the early 19th century, and these guys started doing it to sell all things that were on display, that had a bit of a default. And then later during that century, they decided to do it twice a year as a big event, and it was the promise for some people that couldn't afford things to maybe get updated things, but for a better price. And it guaranteed the shop to have more space for a new collection. So it was a win-win. But then things didn't stay like that, did they? Nowadays, it seems there's always a sale going on. So if you're really into a yarn that you love online, then just save it, fave it, and go back time to time, and you'll probably find it on sale. Any Discord server about yarn has a sale sub-server that will tell you when your favorite shop is going on a sale. But with the clothes industry, sales started doing really, really shady things, where they actually want to make sure to have things to sell, because you're supposed to sell things you couldn't, so you don't have a lot of leftovers. So you're not supposed to make a profit out of it. And the clothing industry was like, no, I want to make a profit. So they started doing cheaper clothes that were the same price range as the other clothes, and they would sell it just for the sales. And we don't want that. If an item is sold for less than 25% of its price, it's a huge loss. And yet you see those huge shopping brands that sells at 70% a lot. If a shop does that, it's really because they have like one item left and they don't want to throw it away or destroy it. So with the yarn industry, we don't want that happening. We don't want fake price all year round
and then the actual normal price during sale time, and we think we're making a deal. When there's a sale, it should be because they're not doing that brand anymore. They have a few left, and that's how it is, you know. And there is good brands that are cheaper. Just you will have to dig for them. When I go to my local yarn store, there's always a bit of a sale going on because she's not gonna purchase more of the same brand. They're not doing it, and she has fewer yarn left of that color. But I take a risk buying it with other projects because I may not have enough, and this yarn I'm not getting anymore. Oh my god, look at my cat trying to help me. Are you? Oh my god, can you not? Okay, so I am helping that store by getting rid of that yarn, but if I don't use it, then it's a real loss for me. So I want to say that loud and clear for myself. A sale is not a good deal if I'm not going to use that yarn. Obviously, yes, it's obvious, and yet I did purchase a really good looking yarn on sale, but no, I may not have enough for some projects. Am I fighting? Oh my god. So yeah, please be careful about sales, and don't expect your small shops and especially indie dyers to do sales. It's not the way to live, and everything has a cost, and it's unfair because a lot of us are not getting paid enough for our job, so we can afford things that we like and things of good quality. But you can't go to indie dyers and be like, oh, I'm not making enough, you should reduce your price, because then it will be the same thing for them, and they're probably already working at a loss, some of them, to get started. When you start a new business, you don't really bill in your time, and if you're doing crochet and knitting and people ask you for projects, you may have them pay for the yarn, but you're not billing your time like 30 euros an hour, which is the actual price range for a really skilled person, or just even 10 euros an hour, which is minimum wage here in France. You're not billing that because nobody wants to buy a 150 euros sweater. And yet, that's the cost of things. And maybe if we didn't have such cheap clothes all around us, we would be so surprised. And even if you want a lot of clothes, we have too much clothes, come on. And I'm telling all of this to myself. I am not trying to lecture you, I'm lecturing myself, don't worry. Because like I said, I wanted to knit and crochet to do my own things and to be both more sustainable, and I was like, I'm only gonna buy natural brand, natural fiber, and then turns out I didn't, and then I started buying too much where I don't have any project for it, and then what's the point, you know? And indeed I have a lot of joy just knitting. It's not always about the finished object, and having yarn to do that is really nice. But then you fall into the idea of, oh, I deserve this, treat yourself. Yes, that's a good mentality too. Like, obviously I make my own money, I can spend it however I want, but where are my values? My values are to not spend because I can, but spend because I have an actual project in mind and things I buy will be used. So sales are the devil. They are. They're not good for the brand. They're not good for the planet, because it is the idea of we should buy more and more. It's so cheap, just buy it. I don't want to do that. Oh my god, it fits! Yeah, good job, girl. Keep going. I'm probably gonna speed the rest of this because I'm just doing the process over and over again with my cat being cute and helping me. And for some of you that have too much yarn and it's bringing you guilt, just no, I have to cut that. A good idea if you have a lot of yarn and you don't want to lose the value of that yarn, but you're not inspired by it, is to do yarn swaps. You can go on any good Discord with a knitting community and crocheting community, and you will find someone where you live to do a yarn swap, and then it won't be lost, the value of that yarn. And giving it to someone who is a beginner, you're not losing the yarn either. So as long as you're not throwing it away, it's not completely wasted. But it's wasted if you bought it, you're not using it, you're ashamed of it, and you're hiding it, which is a bit what I'm doing with my acrylics. I had to purchase a lot of different colors for a project I did, and I was left with a lot of leftovers. What I did is I started teaching a bit about crochet to anyone who will ask, and I'm happy to have this acrylic on the end because I don't mind it being a bit tangled and not reusable. And if the person is really into it, then I can just give away that ball of yarn for free. So yeah, you shouldn't feel guilt seeing your yarn stash, and everyone has their own budget for yarn. A lot of us wish we had more, but actually, even if we had all the yarn in the world, we wouldn't have time to knit it. So think about the project you want to do. Look at the yarn you want to have. You will find it on sale, but also sometimes you do have to pay the price for things. And I don't know much about the yarn industry, unfortunately. Like shopping industry, obviously, sometimes we're paying too much, but sometimes we're not paying enough. And I think it takes a lot to raise the sheep and to shave them, to wash the raw wool, then to weave it. It's not weaving, is it? Spin it, dye it, wash it. It takes a lot of time, a lot of people, materials, because it's not just the wool. You need to add the dye, and you need to wash it with special, probably special detergent, or if you want to make it softer. So, oh, what? Look at my cat. He's gonna pop out of that curtain, isn't he? He was having the time of his life. Yes, sorry, I'm getting off topic. It takes a lot of time, and it's like if you feel offended when someone asks you to knit for free, crochet for free, then think about that. You don't want that yarn for so cheap that the people raising the sheep and doing all the process until you get that beautiful wool, you want them to get paid so they can continue doing that. So everything has a value, and it takes research, unfortunately, to know the real cost of things. Is there a real cost of things anyway? But I think always searching for the cheapest deal is not the way to go. And understand that some of you don't have the money, and that's not fair. It's not because you don't have the money that you shouldn't be allowed to knit beautiful things. So I'm a sucker for a good deal too, but I realized it did me more wrong than good, because I would end up buying things I wouldn't use. Maybe I like the texture but not the color that much, or maybe I don't have enough, so now I'm stuck with this, and I'll do a scrap project. But the scrap project is really when you have nothing left over. So I'll try to be good, and when I go to my local yarn shop, I won't buy something just because it's on sale. And online shopping, I try to really stay away from that. Even if it's a really good deal, if I don't know the yarn, should I take the risk? Maybe not. I'm very lucky to have a local shop next to me, so I shouldn't go online shopping. So there it is. That was my little talk about sales and why although it's a good thing for us on a budget, it's a good thing for the shops. They can get rid of unwanted yarn and make more space for new ones. Also, that's the thing. We keep getting new collection, and it's not always a good thing, because sometimes there's a yarn you really like and it's well made and the colors are nice, and then it's not in stock anymore, and you're like, why always do new things when this one was just so good? So even if fashion changes, there are some basics we always want in our closets. So it's the same with yarn. I always want a good black wool and a white one. I think that's because that goes with every project. And then your favorite color, obviously. So I don't want things to run out and be always replaced every 2 months, because that's what's happening in fashion industry, sometimes even every 2 weeks. And I choose to knit to do the things I like, whether they're trendy or not. So I'm happy to find the same yarn all year round. So we shouldn't encourage brands to always go for the next thing, unless it's for something more ethical and more environment friendly. Then yes, please go for it. Okay, I'm gonna try to use my cutting knife right now, and it's not gonna work. On the floor, Alice, really? Please. Yes, this is just a video of me struggling cutting cardboard. That's sad. But my cat is in the background, so that's fine. So yeah, obviously if you only want to buy on sales, do it, and I will do that sometimes. But really think about why you're buying it. Is it because it's cheap, or do you have a project for it, or you know you will have a project for this? But if you do sweaters all the time and there's no sweater quantity, then if you only do one color for your sweater, maybe pass this one, and then you will have more money to purchase something you really like when the time comes. You know, I'm like giving you big live lessons, but no, it's so evident. It's just a gentle reminder for myself. When I feel like buying things, maybe I should go back to this video with this fantastic visual of me cutting cardboard. Wasn't that supposed to be a knitting and crocheting podcast? That's so sad. But yeah, please be mindful of sales. They're not always your friends, and we don't want the yarn community to go the same way as the fashion community, where it's less and less ethical, it's less and less environmental friendly, and we are actually getting sales all the time, but with really, really bad produced items, and we actually losing money. It's so sad. Let's try things, obviously. Sometimes you're really interested in a yarn and you want to try it for yourself, and it may be a fail, and that's fine. But let's be a bit more conscious about how we spend our money. Because again, treat yourself by spending it well into something you will enjoy thoroughly. Okay, I have to stop rambling now, and see you later in the video.
So it's ugly, it's just a prototype, but the measurements are right. So I think the card box is just so funky that I'm not gonna bother finishing the prototype, because I'm like, oh, I'm gonna keep it until I have a better one, but it looks terrible. Although having another one maybe will put things, makes things straighten. I don't know. But yes, I like the idea. I like that idea. It's a nice way to have more storage for a smaller pot of yarn. And I need to lower this one here, and I will have the same size there and there, and I can do this thing twice. And I just have to lower this one, and I'm good. I used to have big books here, that's why it was higher, but now I can lower it down. So this will do for now. I put all my yarn away, and it's beautiful, but it wasn't enough to make me stop buy yarn. So now we're gonna put the yarn I have in my little notebook. And I'm not gonna put all the yarn I have because I have a lot of leftovers. I have small quantity of cotton yarn from amigurumi. What I think I want to put down is the yarn I bought sweater quantity of, but I don't have a specific pattern for it now. So when I find a pattern that I like, I can check my yarn, how much I have, and the the size of the yarn, so it will be more clear. So let's do that if my cat lets me. Let's see what yarn I have. So recent purchase is this rainbow yarn, and I bought the recommended quantity on the label, so I'm not gonna put a swatch yet, maybe one day. And I'm just gonna put the name, and nombre de pelotes, so number of balls, so 3. You can put project ID, so kind of know what I want. Petit pull. I want a small pullover that I can put over a nice white shirt with one color. Of course, the moment I open my glass door where my yarn is, my cat is grabbing at the balls.
What are you doing? Don't do that.
But yeah, I was just drawn like a moth to the flame when I saw this. So 3 of those should be enough, and I want to put there's no place, but I want to put how much is weight and how much yards meter I have. Parable. Okay, composition, it's acrylic and wool. 20% wool, better than nothing. What are you doing? So, impulsive purchase. I did it. I entered the shop. I had a really specific yarn in mind, and I found out they were not doing this yarn anymore. I'm gonna show you. This yarn, I knew they used to have it in green and in red, and I really wanted to do cushion with it as gift for Christmas, or even more pink, and I get into the store and I can't find it, and the seller is like, no, they're not doing it anymore, except in this really weird mustard color, but it's not perfectly mustard. So what you're hearing is my cat just grabbing at the balls. Can you not do that? Well, so they don't have it anymore, so I'm crushed, and instead of leaving because they have no other yarn like that, I bought in this store sweater quantity of this yarn. So let's put this one down. It's Ayla by Zeman. Oh, you can even say where you bought it and when. Okay, you can shame yourself. Awesome. And okay, donc c'est du aiguille. Oh yeah, that's what I forgot. So 4 millimeters. And those one are 7, 8. Et crochet. Crochet is 6.5. 6.5. It's 100% acrylic. I don't even like acrylic, but this one is very soft. I really liked it. It's different, and I love the color, like this pastel green. Green is really in at the moment too, and I'm so happy about that. I love green, different kind of green, really like it. So what else? How many do I have? I think I have 7. Let me check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep, 7. So 7. Project, no idea. Like a jumper, but what kind of jumper? No idea. I know that if I do, how do you call them in English? Torsade. If I do some decoration on it, it will take more yarn. So if I do something with a lot of, I can't find the word. I'll put it. It's torsade. If I do them, maybe I'll do a crop top. And again, over a white shirt. It's fine. It looks nice. So I have 7. So that means this one is 100 grammes, 80 mètres. Okay. Pour une pelote. Oh, it should be on notes. That's where I should put that. So, yes. And in the same store, instead of stopping there, I got this yarn. Again, it's green,
this kind of green that you're like, wait, is it blue? No, it's green. So one of my favorite kind of green. And it's really soft. It's a different softness. It feels woolly, but I'm pretty sure it's acrylic. No, it's 80% acrylic and 20% wool. Again, don't know what I'm gonna do, but I kind of want to do something big with it, but I just took the recommended quantity, so I may not have enough. Something very flowy. We'll see. And that's a problem, because if I end up finding a pattern that I love, but it's like extra large, I won't have enough. And since I bought it like some month ago, maybe they won't have the same, you know, it will be the same color, but it won't be from the same lot. So it won't be the exact same color. So it's better to shop with a pattern, except if you know you have your favorite style of jumper and you keep doing them, and then yeah, you can let yourself be seduced by yarn and you're like, I'll eventually make a jumper with it and I will have enough, because you know yourself. But I'm still discovering knitting. My tension is gonna change, hopefully. I already feel it with the current project I'm doing. And crochet is worse because it takes so much yarn. I did a big jumper with yarn and I decided to wing it in crochet, and it was a large one, but because it's crochet I had to buy more yarn. They were out of stock. I had to send a friend buying it for me. Big ordeal. So the recommendation, don't work for crochet. The number of yarn, you will need at least 2 more balls than recommended, but sometimes even more than that, if you're just kind of winging it. If you have a pattern, then obviously they will tell you how much you need. So this one is called Julia. Zeman. And it's knitted with, again, 7 and 8 and a crochet 6.5. Oh no, 6, 7. Okay, so you know, I left that store with sweater quantity of those. Then I went to the store next door looking for a yarn like this, and ended up with this, another yarn that I started a project with already, and one of those big ball where you can just make one shawl with it. So I already have a project for it. I'm not gonna write it down that I have it for now. Then we're gonna look into my older purchase. So let's put those back. It's pink. It's a dark pink. And it's, I don't even know how you say that in English, polaire, but it's made of wool and of baby alpaca, and it was on sale. We talked about sales, and because of that I think I am short of 1 ball for a normal sweater quantity, and I want to do a big cardigan with it. Obviously not gonna happen because I won't have enough, so maybe I'll do a crop cardigan, or maybe one that doesn't close as much, so it's okay. I don't know yet, but it's just so soft and I'm so happy I got it. Anyway, I love this color. I'm happy that it's not acrylic, so let's write it down. This one, again, pink. It's wool, 100% wool. I got it for a jumper and I just stopped doing that jumper. It was crochet and the instructions were in Russian. I
tried to follow along, but I messed up and it was too big. I couldn't do it and I kind of gave up on it. It's beautiful, so I need to get back on that. And the store I bought it closed, so they had this huge sale and I was so afraid I was gonna miss some of this color. Then I just got and bought so much of it, so much. But then one of my grandma asked for a cardigan and I was like, oh, I have plenty of this color, so I could do one with this color for her. So I do have a project in mind and I will have enough, I think, but I still need to write it down. Nombre de pelotes. Many. Let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I think I have 14, but I also have this project that is ongoing where I use at least 2, but I'm gonna put 14 for now. Idée de projet, so cardigan for my grandma. And for me, a jumper. Okay. Another sole purchase is this yarn, same brand, Katia. And I have different colors. And I have a rough idea of what I want, but I want an oversized sweater. And I realized, no, I probably won't have enough. And that's an issue because I'm not sure they have, you know, they probably have it in another color, but I think 3 colors is nice. Like I wanted to do the border of the edge, I mean, like color, and the bottom of the sleeves with this color, and then have fun with this and do maybe some triangle color, you know, not stripes or horizontal stripes if I do stripes. So I have 3 ball of gray, 2 of light green and 1 dark green. So do I put all of it in the same? I think I do. So name is Merino. And I think, no, we're not done. Well, actually, okay, I've got these yellow yarn that I love and I have a pattern for it. I just did a swatch and another and another and another, and I keep getting it wrong, so I give it a rest. Since I exactly know, every time I look at this, I know exactly what I'm gonna do. Because actually I was lucky that I bought the pattern in a magazine at the same time the wool got out. That's how they work. And actually I even choose the same color as the model, the pattern. So I know what it's for. I know I'm gonna do that. And if I really can't get that swatch right and I feel I can't do it, then maybe I'll try to find another project. But for now, I have the quantity required by the pattern. I have the pattern. I just need to do a good swatch or calculate with my swatch what adjustment I must do, because it has a pattern, kind of a lace pattern, so I may have to remove 2 rows of the pattern. How to explain? But I tried using smaller needles and it didn't look nice, so I'll have to calculate, which I was so afraid of. I took this project maybe a bit too early in my knitting journey, and it's nice to give you challenges, but this one maybe was tiny bit too hard. It's sitting on the side. I'll get to it because I just fell in love with the cardigan. I will do it, and I love the color too. But I'm really happy with the color, so if I don't do that cardigan, I will use this yarn. No worries. So I've hopefully, having this whole page completed, if I found a pattern that I like, I can quickly look at what I have and be like, okay, I have this much, I have enough yardage, and that's just fine, let's go with it. Or I can look at this and be like, oh yes, I wanted to do that kind of project for it. Let's look for a pattern that goes with the needle size and the number of yardage I have. Hopefully it will help with me not buying any more random yarn, because then I feel guilty and that's not good. And I'm not saying you should feel guilty. I'm saying if you feel guilty, then something is wrong, and I don't want this feeling. My knitting is and crocheting is my happy place. So I don't want to associate negative feeling of guilt, discouragement. I will have this. I'll be discouraged because I can't seem to do something, but then I can get help with this. But buying yarn, that's on me. And I have a lot. This is a proof of me having a lot of yarn for any spontaneous project that was not planned. Because I got more yarn too recently, but I actually know what I'm gonna do with this, so it doesn't feel as random and I don't feel guilty about it. I'm like, yeah, this is a project for someone, for Christmas, for a birthday, and I don't feel guilty about that. But those, I don't want to feel guilty about them, because even if it's a sold purchase, I still love it. Like, I chose the color I liked. And one example is the other day. I was in another shop. Obviously, I go to a different city. I'm like, is there a yarn shop here? I found one. Lovely. And I found a yarn that I could use to make cushion. You know, the yarn I was looking for in the first place. Like, a substitute for this. It wasn't fuzzy, but it was really fun. It was cotton, but it was like a tube. And I want to play with that yarn. I do, but the colors really didn't speak to me at all. There was a bright orange, and I feel like you can't give bright orange. It's difficult. And there was a beige, but it was really a May beige. It wasn't like a cozy beige, a warm beige. It was a May. So I don't feel like gifting that to anyone, because you're like, oh, it's neutral. No, it was ugly beige. Let's say it. So it was on sale too, and I fought the urge to buy it because I would have had fun playing with the texture, but in the end I will be left with a project I wouldn't use for myself, and I wouldn't know who to give it to. So I'm happy that I did better. I'm doing better, I think. Slowly. Organizing my yarn started to help. Filling this hopefully is gonna help even more. Continuing searching about waste and fashion industry and slow fashion is also helping me in my quest to, I want to make a ton of garments, but if I don't wear them, well, I get the joy of making them, but if I can't wear them and can't gift them to people who actually use it, it's still a bit of a waste. It's not a complete waste if I enjoy doing it, but I won't enjoy doing something that I don't like. And if I like it, I want to wear it or gift it. It's a fine balance, and I'm working on it every day. I'm working on it with other area of my life, but knitting has really taken a large space in my life. So I have to think about it. Why do I knit? And I don't want to be a bit consumerism. No. I'm losing my word. Let's stop at that, and let's dive in what I'm trying to say in the conclusion of a video.
baby.
Did it work? Will I ever stop buying yarn just because I find it pretty? No, obviously I will still do that, but less so, I think. Because I did both yarn since then. I bought this yarn, but for a specific project, as well as this one. And I didn't buy any just because it looked pretty. So that's good. I'm doing better, I think. There was a lot of reflection on fast fashion, slow fashion. Why did I get into this hobby? And yeah, it's a journey. I don't want to shame anyone which has a big stash and is not doing much with it. If it brings you joy and you can afford it, do it. But for me, it was starting to bring guilt, and I don't want that feeling, you know? It's a hobby that I practice every day. That's why my stash is big, but it's not my job either. So I don't need just in case yarn, just in case I have a hoarder. And I'm very, very lucky. I have a lot of stores right next to me. One of them is like 3 minutes on foot away from my house. And I am so lucky, and she carries a lot of different brands with different prices. So I am so lucky with that. So I don't need to store as much, and I am less tempted to buy online, which is, I think, so difficult because it may look one way, but it's not gonna look the same when it arrives. And some people don't mind the surprise, but if you do, you can watch hauls. Watching a haul will make you want to buy yarn first. But for some people, it would just scratch that itch of seeing yarn, and that's nice. Also, a Snob Yarn review, it's perfect. She is T. Oh my god, I can't remember the name. Let's write it down. She reviews yarn, and she really tested. She called for dupes, and it's so nice if you're not sure. Sorry, all that noise is my cat. Once more. So yeah, it's a really good channel if you need to purchase online. She has good reviews, and probably others, but that's the one I know. So watch all if you know it's good for you, and maybe avoid them if it just makes you want to purchase more. And don't feel guilty about buying yarn. Also, organizing my yarn and keeping it nice and tidy really helps with the fact that if I realize that I'm not using it, it's in good condition and I can resell or donate it without it being a huge mess and no one wanting it. So it's less of a waste. And arranging it in a nice fashion for me, it brings me joy. You know, it's in my bedroom, I see it all the time, and I like all the colors. It works. For now it works. I used to have tools for drawing, which I don't do, so seeing them reminded me, oh, you're not doing that anymore. I replaced it. About a hobby I am interested as for now, and I see all the potential. It feeds my creativity. So yeah, if it brings you happiness, keep doing it. And if it brings guilt to you, then maybe take a hard look at your yarn and make a vote to buy, not buy any, because I think that's maybe too difficult. Just buy less, you know, and less, and give some that you won't use away or sell it. Swap yarn. I joined Tiffany Liu Discord. It's so nice, and they have a yarn swap channel, and I'm pretty sure that other crafters you're watching online, other knitters or crocheters, they have a Discord, and they probably have that. You will find someone to swap yarn with, and go local. Ask for a knitting group in your area. Ask your local yarn shop. You will find people, and it won't be wasted yarn, because that would be the worst feeling, I think. Yeah, I hope you like this video, and the next one will tackle the whips, because I am drowning in them. Is it worse than this video? Maybe, I don't know, but I still have a lot of organizing to do. So I'll show you before and after pictures and videos of my bookshelf. Although I must admit, not everything fits in that bookshelf. I still have one cubicle with my acrylics that I use when I teach crochet, because it's cheap, so I don't mind if it breaks, if I can reuse it. I did buy it for a project that I finished, but I had so many colors that I have a lot of leftovers, and the fact that it's bright colors helps when you learn, instead of learning don't learn on a black knit, you know, on a black yarn or dark yarn. Light colors are easier, and also it's worsted, I think. I'm not sure about the terms in English, but it's a thick boy, so it's easier to learn, I think. And also, like, sometimes I give it away. If someone that I'm teaching is really into it, I'm like, okay, I just give you the yarn so you can keep practicing at home. So sometimes having cheap acrylic yarn at home is the right choice. I have a love-hate relationship with acrylic. We'll dive into that another day. And what else? And I have another plastic drawer where I have really old yarn that my grandma gave me. You really want the attention, don't you? Look at the camera. It will be prettier. So, sorry. What was I saying? Yes, I have old yarn. I don't have the label. I don't know what it is. But when I want to learn a new technique, I can just grab it, try it, and again, I'm happy. It's okay if I break it. I don't feel like I am wasting yarn. So yeah, that's it. Let's show you some nice video to finish that crochet confession. I forgot to mention, I organized my tools too. I got a new, I was gonna say it first, no, it's a pencil holder, no, pencil case. And I've got one, okay, brilliant, with pockets, a huge pocket just for, you know, my glue, my huge crochet, my knife, and my pens, my eraser, my tape, and best for last is this part where you're supposed to put pen, but I put all my crochets. So yeah, that was a really nice purchase. You can find this all over the internet, so I'm not gonna recommend a specific website. I'll just tell you the name. It's Ango, I don't know, hopefully you can see that, probably not with my face. And I just put a pin on it, and I liked, and it's been so useful to have all my crochet organized, because they were in a huge pencil case from my friend Valentine, thank you again, but having them laid out makes it easier. And I need to organize my needles because I started knitting. For now they're just in this box, but it's not really working, so I'm not gonna get another pencil case, or will I? We'll see. But organize your tools, not just your yarn, obviously. So that's it for this episode of Crochet Confession. See you next time. Bye!